Alright, hi everybody. In this video we're going to check sprite collisions using functions. So this is the same program I had before. I've got four sprites, this blob sprite, the man sprite, the fire sprite, and the rectangle sprite. And when one sprite overlaps another sprite, we'll get a thanks and his health will go up. And when this blob sprite collides with the fire sprite, it will lose health, say ouch. And when this blob sprite displaces this man sprite, it's a power up and it will increase the blob's size. We'll just see how these sprite collisions are detected using functions. Okay, so in the global variables, I just added two more variables. There's the four sprites, sprite man, sprite blob, sprite fire, sprite blue box, and I have a health variable and a score variable. In the function preload, I just loaded the animations for the man animation, the blob animation, and the fire animation. And the images are in my image folder. And the setup function is exactly the same. I created each sprite and I added the animation for each sprite except for the rectangle. The rectangle, I just set the shape color to blue. Now, how the collisions are detected is different. So I'm going to go to the draw function first. I drew the background and I'm controlling the blob position with my mouse position. And this is what is different. So each collision detection, displacement detection, and overlap detection is going to call a function. So let's just read it. So it says sprite blob.collide. So if the blob sprite collides with, and each of these except two arguments, the sprite that they're colliding with, displacing with, or overlapping with, and what happens. What function are we going to call when that is true? And in this, that'll be the second item. So if the sprite blob collides with the fire sprite, then we're going to call function lose health. And if we go up here, function lose health, what happens? We're going to lose health one at a time. That's what minus equals means. It means like health equals health minus one for each time I touch it. And then this text message saying ouch will appear slightly above the sprite. And when the sprite blob displaces the man sprite, then we're going to call the power up function. And the power up function is here, displace detected, function power up. Power up will appear above the sprite. The sprite blob scale will double, so it gets twice as big. And then I'm removing the man sprite. That's why the man sprite disappears, and I'm just updating the man sprite has disappeared. So let's just run it again. So there we go, and there we go. So that's why that happens. He's detecting the displacement, and then the man sprite disappears, and the blob sprite gets twice as big. Now, what happens at overlap? If the sprite blob overlaps the sprite blue blocks, then we're calling this function gain health. So let's look at that function. Function gain health. Health equals health plus 1. So each time I'm touching that blue box, its health will increase by 1, and it's going to show the text thanks. This way is a better way to control what's happening in the sprite, because you might use these functions for more than one thing, right? There might be more than one way to lose health in your game. So you're going to have to call the lose health function again in different situations. So it's less code overall. It's a more efficient way to code. And then I'm printing the score and the health along with the variable score and health at the bottom of the screen using the text commands in the draw function.